Wait, is it time? Hold on.
It is time. It's plushie reveal time, ladies and germs.
1 sec.
Well, we're excited. It's been a long time coming.
What?
I wasn't even here when the last
Good.
one released.
You didn't deserve to be here for it, okay?
Oh, I was busy. You're not going to do any music?
Nope. Okay. No budget.
Oh. Times are tough, I got it.
Oh my god! Gunk likes to send me a lot of stuff to test out. We've got DGG pink sweatpants with the guy on them. Okay, okay.
Which guy?
What do you mean, which guy?
Oh, you get the little guy there.
The guy. What do you mean, which guy? Oh my. Oh my god.
Show us the guy.
Look at the guy. How does this work?
There he is.
Oh my god, it's magnets. Holy.
Not only is it magnets, but in the future, they're going to be releasing, you know, extra little things for the little guy to hold.
Wow.
And who knows? Maybe
Like
if you canvas, you'll get your own little thing to hold.
Now I have 3 versions.
Special edition guys.
These are our top guys. They're the top guys. Look at them up there. Oh my god. Wow.
And how much is the plushie? And where can they buy it at?
Let me see. Shop.destiny.gg. Whoa, it's right on the front page.
Holy. You're telling me it's out now?
This thing must cost like $500 though, right?
I mean, surely.
Only $50. Is that possible?
What? It's only $50.
Only $50. And it's like 12 feet tall. Oh my god. Oh my. That's just crazy.
I just put in my order.
In this
I put
economy?
in the first order.
My god. That's basically free. For just, if you just cancel your Hassan subscription for 10 months, you could buy this one for free.
And I know where a 5% discount code is.
Really? Where?
Mm-hmm. I'll have to see it in the morning show tomorrow and scan the QR code.
Wow, that's crazy. So now nobody's going to order because they're waiting for your 5% thing. Nice. Good one.
Well, I can send you the QR code. You can put it on screen,
No,
actually.
don't worry about it. No, just save it for your show.
No,
Fuck it.
no. Hold on. I'll put it on
Whoa! I'm getting big reel. Hold on. We're getting a big reel coming through. Damn.
That was pretty good.
Really?
For you.
Met her on the way to Chicago, where she was.
Into making love, so come give me a hug. Get in there getting rough. You can find me in the club. I'm full above, mama.
Okay, 10 reels and then I'm done.
My girl don't want me cause I'm my dirty laundry. Let's go. My girl don't want me cause I'm my dirty laundry. My girl don't want.
No.
Met her on the way to.
No, what happened?
I don't like that noise, man.
Chameleons could be anywhere. On your couch or rocking chair. On your plant, on your lamp, on your ceiling fan. And you would never know. Because chameleons love change.
Fall, fall and turn your face.
Oh no.
Fall in love.
He's gonna get killed, isn't he?
This is an ad, man.
It's not an ad. It's no way.
Fall behind you.
Yeah, it's Clash Royale, Mr. Mooten. I don't know what any of it means though, but is that supposed to be the big guy or the skeleton guy? Oh, that's the skeleton's previous lives. Wait, the skeleton's the good guys in Clash Royale? There are no good guys.
There's no good or bad, Steven.
Shut
Only
up.
the Force.
The Skeleton King is facing his son Larry in battle.
I was surprised to see.
God damn it. Now this bird meme is on too much on my algorithm. Oh, and they even have to include the reference because oh my god. How do you thumbs down a meme?
I am not the warrior, I'm the warrior sister. I am not the warrior, I am the warrior's mom. This is our warrior.
Give myself away.
It's an old meme, but
Surprised to see.
it was Kojima. Go
Your
back.
shit is fucked.
Shut up.
You didn't have no man.
I give myself
What?
To give the very best she can.
Is that actually? Why is he? God damn it.
away.
Not no. What? Now it's all birds.
Into me. She said she didn't have no man.
Is that Hideo too?
It's
It's cosplay? That's not Hideo.
It's just an Asian guy, man.
What?
It's just an Asian guy, man.
What is the song? Is it a real Michael Jackson song, or is this like a mix of two fucking songs or whatever? God damn it. My shit is fucked now.
Yeah, your algorithm's cooked.
It's
dude.
fucked.
Oh, you're getting little gray
Cats.
hairs.
Hold on.
Aw.
Boy, if you don't release the claws from my leg, thank you, boy.
Oh, yeah.
You're hugging me like a koala. You know when have you seen the videos where they're doing it with like a newborn baby and they're like, these are all the fun ways to hold your child, and it's like the arm bar. This is the arm bar where you put your arm like this and they grip your arm.
Yo, what's up, dude? You ready to catch this dub?
Don't even get me started, alright? I just had a long day at work. I'm just trying to chill and catch a dub. I don't want to deal with any bullshit.
Dude, I feel you, bro. Let's get this dub, alright? Alright. Alright, yo, I'm dropping in right here. Ah, shit, you're right. Bro, I just got downed.
Man, fuck! Shit! What the fuck?
Alright. Alright, bro, I'm right here. Yo, he's one shot.
You gotta be fucking kidding me! What is all this bunny hopping, slide dancing bullshit? I swear to fucking God, I'm about to lose my fucking shit!
Alright, dude, yo, he's on you,
The way you walk, the way you understand me, the way you move,
Why are they on their villain arcs? I just need one good meme.
You're not gonna get any on this algo.
What? I'm gonna find a good one.
My child. Where is my child?
I'm told by the merch person, aka Gonk, he says, if anyone is having difficulty trying to check out, wait a few minutes and try again. There's so much site traffic right now, you're crashing checkouts.
Hell yeah, China's flooding my site right now.
You look so natural. Thank you. I'm.
Yes. Go show him.
I'm here.
I love man's chest hair. Manchester! Feeling horny, never boring, don't record me, just adore me. Ibuprofen, never joking. Spitting fire, fucking dragon, MDMA, all of my fucking system. Fucking listen, mate. Driving Beamers, Cleveland Steamers, Dirty Sanchez in the bleachers, Dirty Fanny. Got a bleacher, gonna blow up like a fucking creeper. Boom, fuck you, mate. Fucking up in your fucking ears, mate. It's that fucking UK shit, mate. Fuck off. I love man.
What is this? What is this stupid shit? This kid's coming, bro. Oh, shit.
Have you ever drawn an eye exquisitely, and then when it comes time to draw the second eye, you can't get it to match? I can fix that. Now, I'm sure you've noticed, human eyes can function independently, but they're not designed to. Eyes work together. And because they work together, when you're drawing them, it's very helpful to think about it as if you're drawing one thing. Because you're drawing one system. So why is it that when we try to learn how to draw eyes, the usual thinking is to learn to draw them one at a time? The key to getting better at drawing eyes is to never draw them one at a time. Always draw them at the same time.
True.
And no, I don't mean draw them like this. I find that that's just drawing them one at a time with more steps. Like, when I was learning to draw, doing it like this didn't really help all that much.
Okay.
Let me show you what I actually mean. It is MRD and welcome to the drawing table.
Oh, shit.
I'm about to teach you guys a method for drawing eyes that I not only believe is the
You're really
easiest,
gonna
but
watch
also
this.
the simplest.
Well, I
want to
know now how he does it at the
All
same
I have
time.
here
then open
is
up
3
paint.
equal sections and a midpoint.
Do it with him.
Hold on.
The outer edges of the horizontal line will represent the corners of your eyes. So
Motherfucker's
go
got a
ahead and draw
metronome.
an
Holy
arch
shit.
that connects the corners of each eye.
Okay.
Next, draw another arch upside down that
Okay.
intersects your tear ducts.
Holy shit.
When you're drawing these arches, you're going to start realizing that your brain is really good at picking up whether or not they're symmetrical on both sides. That's what makes it easier. Now, some of my more artistically challenged friends who
No way is this going to be 2 eyes.
haven't drawn before, you're probably thinking right now, oh, those don't look like eyes, false advertising.
Exactly. True.
Yeah, because I haven't put no sauce on them yet. Because this is where you come in.
Okay.
This is where you
Put the
render
sauce.
your way. Yeah, music break. Yeah, music break. Music break. Now watch how I bring in some eyebrows. Watch how easy this is.
Oh my god. He's doing another arch thing? What the?
See how it's coming together? Now let's put my little special sauce on it, right?
Oh, put him in the burqa.
Once you do a little bit of experimenting, you're going to realize that it really doesn't matter the style that you draw if you're thinking. Really good at drawing people strategies that they may or may not show when they're drawing.
And this is Jack, my son. Jackson.
You're not even gonna finish
That's not
it?
what I said. Sir, are you feeling all right? And this is Jack, my son. Jackson. That's not what I said. Sir, are you feeling all right?
I just found this amazing 2-player survival island seed, giving
Wow.
you this pair of flat twin plains islands right next to each other. Both of the islands are going to be extremely similar.
Yeah, let's go.
Know you wonder where the F you been, but I'm back to life.
It's been way more than 10, man.
I don't know how my algorithm got so fucked. Oh no, do you think one is going to bop the other one?
Yep.
I think the black one's going to bop first.
Nope, the white one's gonna jump.
God damn it. K from YouTube, thank you. For the $100. Holy shit. Oh my god.
They gave you $200 yesterday, too.
That's crazy. That's my Qatari sponsor. Yes! Okay, that was okay.
Did you see the Nancy Mace shit?
Nope, don't care. I'm watching Reels right now. Oh, I love this. Definitely not AI generated pixel art. Hell yeah.
Wow, if you were this strong at your age, you guys in your prime must have been.
Were they? I'm guessing they weren't honorable.
You never watched Avatar?
No, what the fuck?
He told me that I was ugly and fat. And
Now I'm getting Avatar news. No!
Why are you 9 sleeping?
It's retarded.
Do you need me to turn the gas, I mean the air conditioning on?
You said politics today.
Would
I
that help you
know.
go to
That's
sleep,
just
yeah?
political. It's German.
Air conditioning is good, yeah?
Okay, alright, I agree.
Okay, just one good one. Not why?
No cat one.
Oh shit! Whoa! Uh oh! Oh no! Ah! He's gonna fucking eat us. Oh wait!
Eat me.
Ah!
There's a lot of ways to learn to.
Okay, I'm done for real now.
Why would I want?
It looks like all you stupid wizards ran out of magic. I guess you can't hurt me anymore. It looks like all you.
Stupid.
I mean, was it though?
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
Well, they got him. They got him with the wizard stab. No.
It looks like all you
Didn't they
stupid
get him?
wizards ran out of
They got him, but
magic.
it's stupid.
I guess you can't hurt me anymore. It looks.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's a real serious political stream.
Yeah. Problem, troll face.
Let's get to it.
Illegality, and that illegality needs to be punished.
Everything that he wants to do is to decapitate our constitutional democratic order and replace it with a monarchy.
Whoa.
Look, if you're watching this channel, you probably know that this is the most corrupt presidential.
Watch the Michigan Senate debate. Wait, when does that happen? Watch live 1 day ago.
We missed it?
What? The premier political
well, in
streamers?
most cases, good luck with that.
I can't see it.
Our commission will
Justice that actually
well in most cases, good luck with that. Our commission will plan, produce, and schedule debates, including rules and format. Look, debates are critical opportunities to
They're
assess
critical mode.
decision-making, substantive vision, and stability. We believe voters should not be making decisions based on 30-second ads or Instagram reels.
True. Wait, look at this reply from Ryan. He's going fucking crazy.
Implying a voter's
Oh.
gonna watch this.
They will. I don't know why Pisco gives so much good grace to these crazy fucking the legal YouTuber guys. Ryan genuinely surprised me here. I thought he would go into this and give Pisco a good fight as to whether or not Dems were justified, but Pisco actually took a big fat L. He failed to capitalize on calling out just how much of a colossal embarrassment you were on this. You made yourself look like a pathetic 14-year-old edgelord who thinks your asinine virtue signaling and bloviating for an hour is sacrificing your character for the good of the country. You're a no-name loser who couldn't even move the needle with the gravitational pull of your overinflated ego. Jeez, Soypel going in. Says the guy who would let Biden sexually assault his family at gunpoint and still vote for him. I can think of nothing I want less than your approval. But hey, 40% of the audience thought Pisco did good. That's better than nothing. If I ever brag about having the support of the modern day debate audience, it'll be because even my mother stopped loving me. Would you vote for Hitler if Churchill sexually assaulted your family? You never told me. No, but he would vote for Hitler if Churchill supported DEI. True. I'm probably risking a ban defending the obvious Nick Fuentes fan linking videos, but I don't think Fuentes fans should be banned solely for posting content from their dear leader. The fact that they're here at all suggests he's a reaching problem. Sure, I don't necessarily disagree. The reason why I banned him is because he did. When you're doing this thing, he's doing a thing to make it so it's not obvious how much he's linking the same thing over and over again. That's why I banned him. Don't do that fucking shit to avoid the stalk thing, so that you're fuck that. Cringe.
If you're just linking a fucking Fuentes meme every once in a while, that's totally fine. But if your whole fucking life is just linking and you're not chatting at all, it's kind of retarded.
True. And his name is Vosh V, so. Wait.
Waiting.
I think that this word, have we talked about this on stream before? Judgment?
Okay.
I feel like it should have an E in it.
It doesn't?
Not between the G and the M.
I've written that wrong on college papers.
It's kind of crazy. Like, this is clearly correct. I don't know why,
I agree.
But this is like... Yeah, also, I think he spelled tyranny incorrect here. I think. Tyranny? Maybe that's part of the meme, though. My guess is it's part of the meme. Works both ways. You mean like your mom does?
Whoa! Good one, dear leader. Oh, yeah.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, putting the speaker on this. I'll be right back 1 second.
Where are you going?
That just doesn't cut it today.
Me and Dan are about to go have some fun without you, bitch.
We'll do better. Dave?
Thanks, Steve. Debates are an important element of campaigns. Anybody who says debates don't matter anymore is forgetting what happened on the debate stage in the 2024 presidential election when Joe Biden's re-election campaign disappeared before our eyes.
We're bringing this shit
They're
up
also forgetting
still?
Rick Perry's oops moment
guy.
in 2011 when his GOP primary aspirations went up in flames on Oakland University's campus, by the way. Unfortunately, as Steve said, voters have seen, and by the way, the commission's goal is not viral moments, it's substance, which we are going to see this afternoon. Voters have seen simply fewer of these events in recent years. In 2022 and 2024, respectively, there were only 2 gubernatorial and U.S. Senate debates, both of them, each time, after absentee ballots had been sent out and started to be returned. This year, the commission will host debates for the offices of governor and U.S. Senate throughout the fall campaign. Before absentee ballots are sent out, there'll be at least one. We expect the candidates to be there. The voters deserve it. If your organization would like to be a part of our efforts to create more frequent, more substantive debates between those seeking to be our state's leaders, we'd love to have you join the commission. Just find Steve or me later today or hit us up via email. Thanks again for the opportunity to tell you about the commission. And now on with the show.
Please welcome the editorial page editor for the Detroit News and contributor for Detroit PBS's One Detroit, Nolan Finley, and executive advisor at Bridge Detroit and host of Detroit PBS, Stephen Henderson.
Good afternoon, Mackinac, and welcome to the 2026 U.S. Senate Democratic Candidates Debate, where each of our candidates is going to make their case to Michigan voters ahead of the August primary election. This is a really important moment for Michiganders. It's where you're going to hear directly from the candidates about the issues, their priorities, and the challenges we face as a state, all shaping up as we get closer to August. Up first, we are going to bring out our candidates.
And before we do that, we want to recognize the man they're all seeking to replace, our own Senator Gary Peters, who's here, and his wife, Colleen. Now let's bring out the stars of the show. Please welcome Abdul El Sayed, Haley Stevens, and Mallory McMorrow. Thank you, candidates.
Okay, before we get started, we want to explain a little about how this debate will work. And I'll say up front, it's going to look a little different than debates you have seen us do in the past. This debate is going to consist of 5 different rounds, each beginning with a question from a journalist that will be directed to all 3 candidates. Each candidate will have 1 minute to respond to that question. And the order of responses will rotate throughout the debate to ensure that there is fairness among all the participants. After all 3 candidates have answered a question, we're going to open up the floor for an additional 6-minute discussion, allowing candidates to engage in a moderated discussion led by Nolan and I, the moderators. Now, the candidates have been asked to keep their responses focused and respectful and to avoid interrupting while another candidate is speaking. Nolan and I will make sure that you can hear from each of them uninterrupted during these segments. Time limits are going to be enforced throughout the debate. Candidates will see a visible countdown clock for their 1-minute responses, and if a candidate exceeds their allotted time, we may step in to stop them. At the conclusion of the debate, each candidate will deliver a 1-minute closing statement. All right, so let's get to it. Joining us for our first question is Jason Colthorpe. He is an anchor and reporter and the host of Flashpoint on WDIV TV Local 4 in Detroit.
I'll be leaving the stage. Well, thank you. How's everybody? Good afternoon. Afternoon. Candidates, good to see you. Let me ask you this. This question is on the economy. Americans face the twin crises of affordability and inflation in nearly every aspect of their economic lives: housing, food, gas prices, higher education. And that's coupled with the per capita income in Michigan that's now fallen from 16th to 40th nationally over the last 25 years. Classic Democratic politics tend to favor ideas and solutions like heavy government investment, tax increases for the wealthy, and increased regulation for corporations. But if you're elected, you will most likely be in a divided Senate where you have to strike compromises with opposing ideas if you want to get anything done for Michiganders. So the question is, where will you stand firm and where will you give ground? What kind of trade-offs are you willing to make as our next U.S. Senator to bring the cost of living to a more affordable level?
For this round, Mallory, you are going first.
Thank you, Jason. And thank you, everybody, for being here. We are in a critical moment, and I don't want to lose sight of the stakes here, because on the other side, you've got Donald Trump's hand-picked candidate in Mike Rogers. Gas is hovering around $5 a gallon. The idea of the American dream is wasting away from us. And I am really proud, Jason, to your point, of having worked across the aisle. We are in my colleague, Senator John DeMoose's district, and I have worked with him on a 10-year economic development strategy that would expand local small businesses, grow our economy from the ground up, keep our young people here. We've also expanded registered apprenticeships in Michigan into advanced manufacturing, into healthcare, into tech, into agriculture, to give people the ability to build something entirely new. But where I will draw the line is anything that hurts our people. Just this week, I introduced 2 policies related to AI and jobs, and AI safety. This is a technology that is happening faster than we're prepared for, and policymakers can't afford to wait.
Next response goes to Haley Stevens.
Michigan has been paying the price because of chaotic, erratic tariffs coming down from an administration that is completely out of touch with who we are. Instead of going after China, the president started a trade war with Canada. Here in the Upper Peninsula, we've paid a significant price as Michiganders. Small business revenues are down 40%, and across the state, they are down 20%. Michiganders, like the gal who goes to my exercise gym, told me that she's driving less to save gas money so she can make it to her job because of an illegal war that this president started that we are all paying for. He is out of touch, and what I want to do is continue to work on bipartisan solutions like the CHIPS and Science Act that I proudly played a lead role in passing that created Michigan jobs, lessening our dependence on China and creating growth right here in Michigan.
Last response goes to Abdul El Sayed.
Thank you so much for the question, Jason. Look, I just got to be clear. We're here at Mackinac Island. Just a couple steps away, you've got the porch where corporate lobbyists are cutting deals with corporate-backed politicians to figure out how to pick as much meat off the bones of Michigan as possible. You're right. I want to tax billionaires their wealth. You are right. I want to stand with unions. And you are absolutely right that I think we should be enforcing antitrust policy that allows big corporations to collude together to raise our prices. And the thing about it is this: the conversation that needs to be had isn't just the one that we have with the 99 other senators or the folks in Congress or even the president. It's the conversation we have with the 350 million people who elect all of us. And I think we have an opportunity to actually find like-minded opportunities with Republicans who understand that their people too are getting picked apart. I've been to 96 cities now, and no matter where I go, people say the same thing. It just shouldn't be this hard. And the reason it's this hard is because you've got 2 establishments, one on the right, one on the left, who play the same game, and that game has to be opposed by going right to the people and bringing our democracy back.
Fucking kill me. It's over.
We've not heard a whole lot about debt and deficit during this campaign season. Both are mounting. Both threaten to derail the country at some point. I want to ask you, does America have a spending problem or a revenue problem? Starting with you, Mallory McMorrow.
Thank you very much. You know, I'm proud to be endorsed by 4 U.S. senators in my run here: Peter Welch, Martin Heinrich, Elizabeth Warren, and Chris Murphy. And Peter Welch is somebody who similarly came out of a state legislature. Here in Michigan, I know many of my legislative colleagues are here. We have to pass a balanced budget. We do it on time. We do it on a bipartisan basis. We know how to spend within our means because there are no other options. That is experience that we desperately need in Washington, to learn how to spend within our means, not to slash and burn through DOGE, not to be firing career civil servants and replacing them with AI, but doing so responsibly so that we can go back to the next generation, frankly, my daughter Noah, and know that she is not going to bear the brunt of the bill when it finally comes due.
But what does responsibility look like? What do you cut and where?
Responsibility means going through every single budget, line by line, from start to finish. Let's stop just starting with the number that's before us and ask, what do we actually need to do to deliver? What do we actually need to do to provide healthcare? What do we actually need to do to protect our men and women serving abroad? And start from the goal and work back to what that budget should be. That's what we do every single year.
No, let me jump in here. Because I think it is important for us to recognize that so long as we continue to play the same corporate game, we're going to get the same corporate prizes. And I'm the only candidate on the stage who has never taken a dime from a corporation to run a campaign and never will. And now here's the question. I knew you would ask a question about deficits, because at the end of the day, every single time we have a Republican administration, they run up the deficit doing 2 things. The revenue issue, which is they cut taxes on billionaires, and then there's the spending issue, which is we fight stupid wars we have no business fighting. But all of that goes back to one thing: the power of very rich people to buy off politicians to do their bidding, whether it is a weapons manufacturer, whether it is a special interest, or whether it is billionaires who recognize that they can write tax code so they got loopholes they don't have to pay.
Thanks, Mr. El Sayed.
Nolan, we got to be growing the economy. The Michiganders who I speak to want the jobs of today and the jobs of tomorrow here. Look, we are one of 5 states left in this country whose central economy drives through the industrial manufacturing sector. We need proven, effective industrial policy like what we did with the CHIPS Act that paid for itself 4 times over in the first quarter of it being signed. I was proud to be there in a bipartisan way getting that done. When we grow our economy, we can pay off our debt. I cannot as the next senator for Michigan, stand by and watch the hardworking Michigander pay off our debt. It has to come from growth, and it has to come from the effective utilization of the taxpayer dollar. Look, I am talking about this repeatedly, and that is where we need to go. And it is, frankly, as someone who has passed federal budgets and been a part of federal spending efforts that have reinvested here in Michigan, look, I'll talk about it till I'm blue in the face, because this is Michiganders' taxpayer money. I have stood up to the utility companies. Okay, he wants a word in. I get it. I get it.
Hold on a second.
They said they're trying a new format. You know, we understand.
Yeah. So here's a more pointed question. Abdul, you have said you want to tax billionaires.
Absolutely.
Is there a limit, though, to how much you can do that and actually grow the economy versus stilting enterprise and things like that? How do you draw that line?
Do we really think that excess money to billionaires makes jobs? Because if we really think that, then we've been trying it for a very long time, and I don't see that many more jobs. To me, I'd like to tax them the wealth so we invest in the things that actually unlock human capital, like healthcare and good schools and functional infrastructure. If we think that billionaires make jobs with their money, I think we are going to continue to find ourselves in an economy where it's hard to make that first 100,000 and way easier to make that next billion. And I don't want to live in that economy. I want to go to good schools.
What does a fair share tax rate look like? What's the number?
I would like to see us tax billionaires at 7% of their wealth. Because here's the thing. You tax a billionaire 7, 8%, you know what they still are, Nolan? Still a billionaire. Kids are going to be rich. I think our kids can get to go to good schools.
Thank you. Look, Michigan has the opportunity to lead here. Just this week, I held a hearing on legislation called the No Reverse Robin Hood Act. Michigan has spent more than $2.5 billion on incentives to companies since 2019, and so far, that fund, the SOAR fund, has created 0 jobs. The jobs that would be created pay an average salary of somewhere around $13. That is not going to get people out of the hole. That's not going to pay for debt. What our legislation would do would say that if taxpayer dollars, our dollars, are going to support a company to create jobs, they should be required to do exactly that, not turn around and execute stock buybacks, putting money back into the pockets of their shareholders.
Thank you.
How about we just don't subsidize them in the first place?
And look at that. We ended the first segment right on time. Good job.
Yeah,
Good job.
Okay.
So now let's go to our next segment on foreign policy and bring to the stage Nancy Keffer, editorial page editor of the Detroit Free Press.
Oh.
There you go.
Take that, Jason. So, thank you all so much for being here today. Debates do matter. As Nolan said, this question is on foreign policy. A critical issue in American foreign policy is the tension between military power and diplomacy, and when to use each. The United States is giving direct military support in a number of foreign theaters, the Middle East and Ukraine, for instance, but also has diplomatic struggles in our own hemisphere and Western Europe. So now, give us a sense of what would guide your votes on questions about direct use of our military abroad, and how you'd balance that against the need for diplomatic approaches in critical foreign tensions.
First response goes to Haley Stevens this time.
Well, look, as someone who has a foreign policy record, let me say this. It has been absolutely harmful and ridiculous that this administration has completely obliterated U.S. aid, an agency dedicated to humanitarian efforts abroad. This is something that I proudly supported, to obliterate and work to alleviate medical conditions abroad, to promote peace abroad. Peace always has to be the long-term goal. We need to see the United States work with our allies to achieve lasting peace between Russia and Ukraine, between the people of Israel and Palestine, and of course between China and Taiwan. But when you remove the tools from our toolkit, you fail this country, and you fail us to allow us to work alongside our allies.
Next, Abdul El-Sayed.
Let me tell you what absolutely would not shape my perception. It's AIPAC money, which is being spent already in this race to bump up one of my colleagues on the stage. I'm the only candidate who didn't ask AIPAC for their support. I don't think that our taxpayer dollars, which we pay every April, ought to be going to bomb children, to fund bombs and tanks for other countries when we got kids who can't afford basic things in our own. I believe in international law. I believe we ought to be the chief among equals in upholding international law, and I believe that international law ought to guide how we engage with our allies and our opponents, both. And right now, we've got a situation in which we have been a chief opposition to international law. So when it comes to a situation like Ukraine, where you have a would-be dictator or a current dictator who wants to be a dictator of yet more land and violates the sovereignty of a foreign nation in their neighbor, I believe that that is justifiable intervention. In the case of Israel, in the case of Egypt, who get our dollars, I don't believe that that's where our money should go.
Last response goes to Mallory Memorial.
Let's be very clear about the stakes here. Donald Trump, on an Easter brunch Sunday, told Americans that he needs $1.5 trillion to carry out his war in Iran, while telling us that we can't afford daycare, we can't afford Medicare, we can't afford Medicaid. And he went further to say that states should tax their people more to pay for those selfish things. Now, Mike Rogers is in a tough position here because he is facing a reality where every Republican who has stood up to Donald Trump has now been challenged, has now lost their reelection, and he is going to have to choose. Is he loyal to Michiganders, or is he loyal to Donald Trump? We cannot lose sight of November here. The Republicans are spending tens of millions of dollars in this state for Rogers because they know the path to Democrats flipping control of the Senate runs through Michigan. And there's a lot of agreement here on stage that we must end wars, not start them. We must keep money at home, and the best way to do that is to defeat Mike Rogers in November.
Thank you.
Okay, I want to start with this idea. Candidates always have supporters, and many of those supporters give them money. I want to get a sense from each of you of how you figure that into your decision making. If somebody supports you,
Do you
somebody
like
supports your
APAC?
campaign, how do you decide how much influence they have over what you do, how you cast your vote? Do you have to temper that against your own beliefs? What's the process that you go through there? Haley Stevens, you take money from APAC. Walk us through what that money means and what it buys and maybe what it doesn't.
Well, look, my campaign for U.S. Senate.
Plushie
for
is out
Michigan
now on
is a love letter to our
Destiny.DU/store.
state, and I am deeply proud to have grassroots support coming from grocery clerk workers to retired teachers to factory workers and the like. I'm also deeply honored to have the support of former Governor Jennifer Granholm, Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence, and Debbie Stabenow standing alongside me, individuals who fight for Michigan and win for Michigan, which is absolutely what I want to do as Michigan's next U.S. Senator. Look, Michiganders are frustrated because we have not done comprehensive campaign finance reform. Mike Rogers will not vote for comprehensive campaign finance reform like I have in the House of Representatives. We squarely need to put people at the front of our agenda.
And look,
campaigns
again,
are about movements
how
of
do you-
ideas, Stephen. Campaigns are about movements of ideas. And I articulate positions of freedom and democracy and what Michigan needs to succeed at the global stage and nationally.
And you're also just not answering the question.
Go ahead.
Look, at the end of the day, it also buys $3.5 billion sent to a foreign military that could be used here to give glasses here, to provide healthcare here, to build schools here. That's where our money should be used. And look, people know me. I say the same thing everywhere. I come to Mackinac, tell you all I want to tax billionaires. I go down south, tell people I want to tax billionaires. I say the same thing to everybody. If you want to support my campaign, fantastic. If you don't, if it comes down to having more money from a donor or having a message, I'm going to choose a message every time. And I think that's the difference. That's what we need in our politics.
We're going to go to Mallory McMorrow next.
I appreciate that. And messages are great, and you actually need to know how to deliver them. On this campaign, I have not taken a dime of corporate PAC donations. I have not taken a dime of APAC donations. This campaign is entirely funded by 120,000 individual donors, more grassroots support than my opponents combined, the most amount of money from Michigan, and we are building up a campaign that shows that we can run very differently, that we can win very differently,
Thank
that
you.
we
But we
can
want to
reject
focus.
the
We
Democrats.
want to focus on the
last two
issue.
campaigns, though.
Mr. El-Sayed, we want to focus on the issue and get some more specific.
And we were talking about foreign policy, but
specific
yet we're talking about
response.
campaign finance
Excuse me,
reform.
Ms. Stevens. We want to focus on this question. This is a divisive issue. This issue of the conflict between Israel and the Palestinians. It has divided obviously the three of you, but also your party. And you have many Democrats, Jewish Democrats, raising concerns about anti-Semitism. Is there an anti-Semitism problem in the Democratic Party? Ms. McMorrow.
There is. At the Democratic convention, an attendee yelled an anti-Semitic slur at my husband, who is Jewish, who was walking with my 5-year-old daughter. That is terrifying. We need to be able to state very clearly that what the Netanyahu government is doing is wrong, that the violence needs to end, that we need to bring about long-term peace and security for Palestinians and for Israelis, and that turning that into not an anti-Netanyahu but an anti-American Jewish message is dangerous.
But at that convention, you said, you did not support U.S. aid to Israel. Is that your position?
I would have voted in support of 40 of the 47 Democratic senators who would have supported the Sanders resolution blocking arms sales to Israel.
Michiganders are scared, all right? We have rising political violence and extremism. A temple in my congressional district was blown up by a homegrown terrorist. I serve in the Congress on behalf of an incredibly diverse district, and I'm also, leading on combating anti-Semitism in a bipartisan way. That does not have to be a partisan thing. I am, a proud Democrat who has been clear and consistent in a tough time about a horrible, brutal war
We
that
need to move
divided
along.
us.
Mr. El-Sayed, can you answer?
So look, I know what it's like to be discriminated against because of how I pray. And I know that anti-Semitism and Islamophobia tend to go hand in hand. And the real issue when it comes to either of them is the scourge of white supremacy. And I think it's absolutely critical for us to differentiate between love, respect, and admiration for Judaism and the Jewish people, and a continued policy that has us sending our money to a foreign government. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. So for me, when it comes to fighting anti-Semitism, you are not going to find anybody who is not Jewish who has the same focus on taking that on as somebody who understands that these two things go hand in hand together. And so we can do that because we love all people. But it should not mean that we allow our money to subsidize apartheid and genocide against other people because people tell you that that's about hatred for anybody. It's about love for everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, next up is Rick Pluta, who is the senior Capitol correspondent for Michigan Public Radio Network in Ann Arbor.
Thank you. So the story may be apocryphal, but the legend is that George Washington described the function of the Senate as the cooling saucer of Congress, where the hot tea or coffee, depending on the version, is brewed by the House to be, it's chilled a bit by the Senate's more deliberative processes. So the filibuster and the supermajority cloture votes that can slow down the progress of legislation are well-known examples, but as you well know, these rules make the Senate unique, but they can also be controversial. What do you think of the Senate's rules? What would you change and what traditions are worthy of protection? And how do you see the Senate's role in the congressional balance of power?
It goes to Abdul El-Sayed this round.
I really appreciate you sharing that apocryphal metaphor, because if you've ever left tea in a cooling saucer for way too long, it dries up. It's not tea anymore. And right now, that's what the Senate has become. It has become the place where all legislation goes to die. And it allows senators who don't want to take hard votes to hide behind the filibuster of just one senator, usually in a safe seat, and it keeps us from being able to move forward legislation that we absolutely need. So I believe we have to abolish the filibuster. We have to expose senators to democracy again so that they have to answer to their voting public about why they took a particular vote, because I know it would change the way that they behave. But this is just one part of the way our democracy has ossified. And I think we need to be thinking about broad picture democracy reform. To me, that starts with taking on the fact that we've just seen the biggest assault from the Supreme Court on the Voting Rights Act in our history. And so whether it's the Supreme Court or it's the filibuster or it's the way we cut our districts apart, we've got to really rethink democracy to make it work for the people again.
Next is Mallory McMorrow.
Thank you. I appreciate the question, and we have to get rid of the filibuster. We are at a place where too often Democrats are protecting Republicans from their own bad decisions. And look, I helped flip control of our state Senate to Democrats for the first time in 40 years. If we had a similar entity in our Senate, we would not have been able to get anything done, and it shows a real lack of trust in the voters. Politicians, elected officials should be able to govern the way that they see fit to govern and then let the voters decide what happens after that. We also just became the first state in the country to hold a legislative hearing to create a state-level Voting Rights Act in the wake of what the Supreme Court just did, to say that when the federal government and this rogue Supreme Court come for your rights, Michigan will not stand idly by. We will take it on, we will fight, and we will pass it out of the Senate because we have a 2-seat majority, and we will send it to the House and see what they do. Do they stand with Michiganders or do they stand with this rogue Supreme Court?
Haley Stevens.
The people of Michigan deserve a functional Congress. And as someone who has been recognized by the Center for Effective Lawmaking as the most effective Democrat for Michigan in the House of Representatives, meaning I write bills, I pass bills on behalf of the great people of Michigan, I have also used my position and communicated very clearly that the filibuster is no longer serving the people of Michigan. When our voting rights are under attack, when we are on the eve of seeing a black man for the first time in the history of this country become the speaker, and they are erasing seats held by African American men in the South, that is wrong. The filibuster must go. The filibuster must go so that we can codify health care. And by the way, Nolan, to your other good question about the debt and the deficit, we should use the filibuster to not allow the big ugly bill to pass that increased our debt and at the same time eradicated
So we're not going to filibuster
Medicaid.
here.
So wait, you said you would get rid of the filibuster, but you also want to use it. Which one is it?
I said I want to remove the filibuster.
Right, but then you just said you should filibuster. What's going on with the deficit, right?
Yeah, this lady needs to drop out.
I'm saying that I want to change the rules, of which I've been a part of. I voted for rules packages on behalf of the people of Michigan.
It's
and I
over.
believe, Stephen, what I said is we should remove the filibuster so Democrats could have voted down the legislation, the tax bill. That's what I was saying. Democrats should have been able to vote down the tax bill, Stephen. That's why I said we need to get rid of the filibuster. That tax bill should not have happened.
Okay, let's talk about the role of the Senate in Washington and in our government. We've got an executive who does pretty much what he wants to do without the legislature. He doesn't come ask the Senate. He doesn't come ask the House. What are the things that you, as a member of the Senate, could or would do to reestablish the Senate's role in
Why does
in
no one like
lawmaking,
her?
to make
She doesn't
sure
have sauce.
that the co-equal branches are actually co-equal? So you're up first.
I really appreciate the question. Look, the next U.S. Senator from Michigan, because that's what we're talking about. We can have highfalutin ideas about what the Senate ought to do. Let's talk about what the next Senator from Michigan ought to do over the next 6 years. For the next 2 years, we are going to have to put as much sand in the gears of the Trump administration as possible. That means recognizing every procedural opportunity that you have to stop what they're doing from happening, and it means making sure that you're using the bully pulpit of a Senate position, a platform, to be engaging the broader public about what ought to be. Now, that's the other part of it. We've also got to be able to pave the path for the next president of the United States. I've got 3 goals. Get money out of politics, put money in your pocket, pass Medicare for all. And I will use this seat over the next 2 years to be building a broad public narrative and a broad public conversation about what we can do, not just in blue communities to turn up the vote, but also in red communities, because I've been to 96 different communities, and I tell you, you go to the red parts of town and you ask them, hey, do you want health care? They're like, damn right I want health care. Hey, do you think that a corporation should be able to raise your premium 15%? No. Do you think you should be able to join arms with your fellow workers to make sure a corporation can't just offshore and automate your job? Yes. So I think we can win on our values. The problem is too often folks go over there, get cloistered in this conversation in a cloakroom, apparently, I don't even know what a cloakroom is, where they're having conversations with the 99 other people rather than building the platform that will get us the next president who can get these things done.
Next to Mallory McMorrow.
Thank you. Look, there is a path for Democrats to take back control of the U.S. Senate, but it is not without Michigan. There is a reason that the Republicans are spending more in Michigan than they will spend in Georgia, Maine, Iowa, Alaska, and New Hampshire. Because if Democrats take control of the Senate, there is a real check on an administration that the Republicans, every single Republican sitting in the U.S. House and the Senate right now, has refused to vote on the War Powers Resolution. They're letting Donald Trump run the road. And he has admitted himself that he is surprised at how little pushback he has gotten. So that means voting on the War Powers Resolution, using the power of the purse to deny funding to a rogue ICE agency.
Has anything exciting happened at all?
To these foreign.
The Haley lady kind of sucks, and she got caught in a bit of a flub.
Wait, what did she
McMorrow's
flub?
been good. They asked, do you want to get rid of the filibuster? She said yes, but then she also said that she was going to use the filibuster.
Based?
I don't know. And then they called her out on it, and she was like, I want to get rid of the filibuster. Besides that, I mean, it's been kind of whatever.
I mean, I wasn't in here, so I couldn't hear it. But I mean,
She needed to give a
that's not
better
technically. Oh, okay, because that's not technically a wrong answer, right?
No, it's not.
Like you
can
could say,
utilize it and get rid of it. Yeah.
And wars abroad, illegal wars that he is executing, to use the power of oversight to bring people in front of committees
You can go back,
to
it was
show
like
the
2
American
minutes
public
ago.
what these people are actually doing, and use that pulpit to be a check to slow him down, to build power to finally deliver for Michigan.
Yeah. Haley Stevens.
Look, the beauty about putting
If
up
anything,
your
I think you
hand
should go
to
back
serve
because I think
Michigan
it's been
in the
the
United
only
States
interesting
Senate.
thing. But
Okay.
Ever left tea in a cooling saucer for way too long, it dries up. It's not tea anymore. And right now, that's what the Senate has become. It has become the place where all legislation goes to die. And it allows senators who don't want to take hard votes to hide behind the filibuster of just one senator, usually in a safe seat. And it keeps us from being able to move forward legislation that we absolutely need. So I believe we have to abolish the filibuster. We have to expose senators to democracy again so that they have to answer to their voting public about why they took a particular vote, because I know it would change the way that they behave. But this is just one part of the way our democracy has ossified. And I think we need to be thinking about broad picture democracy reform. To me, that starts with taking on the fact that we've just seen the biggest assault from the Supreme Court on the Voting Rights Act in our history. And so whether it's the Supreme Court, or it's the filibuster, or it's the way we cut our districts apart, we've got to really rethink democracy to make it work for the people again.
Next is Mallory McMorrow.
Thank you. I appreciate the question, and we have to get rid of the filibuster. We are at a place where too often Democrats are protecting Republicans from their own bad decisions. And look, I helped flip control of our state Senate to Democrats for the first time in 40 years. If we had a similar entity in our Senate, we would not have been able to get anything done, and it shows a real
You're gonna restart the whole debate? Bro, this sounds boring as fuck. Why? Is it actually like a good debate, or? And you guys just watched like 30 minutes of it.
to reset the whole thing, it's been meh.
Okay.
Trust in the voters. Politicians, elected officials should be able to govern the way that they see fit to govern and then let the voters decide what happens after that. We also just became the first state in the country to hold a legislative hearing to create a state-level Voting Rights Act in the wake of what the Supreme Court just did, to say that when the federal government and this rogue Supreme Court come for your rights, Michigan will not stand idly by. We will take it on, we will fight, and we will pass it out of the Senate because we have a two-seat majority, and we will send it to the House and see what they do. Do they stand with Michiganders, or do they stand with this rogue Supreme Court?
Haley Stevens.
The people of Michigan deserve a functional Congress. And as someone who has been recognized by the Center for Effective Lawmaking as the most effective Democrat for Michigan in the House of Representatives, meaning I write bills, I pass bills on behalf of the great people of Michigan, I have also used my position and communicated very clearly that the filibuster is no longer serving the people of Michigan. When our voting rights are under attack, when we are on the eve of seeing a black man for the first time in the history of this country become the speaker, and they are erasing seats held by African American men in the South, that is wrong. The filibuster must go. The filibuster must go so that we can codify health care. And by the way, Nolan, to your other good question about the debt and the deficit, we should use the filibuster to not allow the big ugly bill to pass that increased our debt and at the same time eradicated
So we're not going to filibuster
Medicaid.
here.
So wait, you said you would get rid of the filibuster, but you also want to use it. Which one is it?
I said I want to remove the filibuster.
Right, but then you just said you should filibuster. What's going on with the deficit, right?
I'm saying that I want to change the rules, of which I've been a part of. I voted for rules packages on behalf of the people of Michigan. And I believe, Stephen, what I said is we should remove the filibuster so Democrats could have voted down the legislation, the tax bill. That's what I was saying. Democrats should have been able to vote down the tax bill, Stephen. That's why I said we need to get rid of the filibuster. That tax bill should not have happened.
Okay, let's talk about the role of the Senate in.
I wonder if they get the questions ahead of time, so they kind of have like pretty carefully prepared answers. I don't know if they said anything, but I feel like the actual answer is that like we should use every single tool available to us. Well, some tools might be bad, and we want to get rid of those tools. While they're available to us, we should use them, right? So like if you want to abolish the filibuster, that's a good position. You can have that position, but while the filibuster is a thing, you should utilize the filibuster, right? Like that's obviously
100%.
Yeah, I guess she didn't give a great answer. Yeah, sure.
Washington and in our government, we've got an executive who does pretty much what he wants to.
The filibuster would make the OBBB easier to pass. She has it backwards. Yeah, I don't know what she meant by when she's saying vote against. I don't know what that means. Because you vote for a bill or you don't vote for. Right. I don't know how getting rid of the filibuster would have made it easier to oppose the one big beautiful bill. But I think she was just incorrect on that, but I don't know, whatever.
To do without the legislature. He doesn't come ask the Senate. He doesn't come ask the House. What are the things that you, as a member of the Senate, could or would do to reestablish the Senate's role in lawmaking, to make sure that the co-equal branches are actually co-equal.
So
Will, you're up first.
I really appreciate the question. Look, the next U.S. senator from Michigan, because that's what we're talking about. We can have highfalutin ideas about what the Senate ought to do. Let's talk about what the next senator from Michigan ought to do over the next 6 years. For the next 2 years, we are going to have to put as much sand in the gears of the Trump administration as possible. That means recognizing every procedural opportunity that you have to stop what they're doing from happening, and it means making sure that you're using the bully pulpit of a Senate position, a platform, to be engaging the broader public about what ought to be. Now, that's the other part of it. We've also got to be able to
Who do you want to win this one? McMorrow for sure.
pave the path for the next president of the United States. I've got 3 goals. Get money out of politics, put money in your pocket, pass Medicare for all. And I will use this seat over the next 2 years to be building a broad public narrative and a broad public conversation about what we can do, not just in blue communities to turn up the vote, but also in red communities. Because I've been to 96 different communities, and I tell you, you go to the red parts of town and you ask them, hey, do you want health care? They're like, damn right, I want health care. Hey, do you think that a corporation should be able to raise your premium 15%? No. Do you think you should be able to join arms with your fellow workers to make sure a corporation can't just offshore and automate your job? Yes. So I think we can win on our values. The problem is too often folks go over there, get cloistered in this conversation in a cloakroom, apparently. I don't even know what a cloakroom is, where they're having conversations with the 99 other people rather than building the platform that will get us the next president who can get this thing done.
Next, Mallory McMorrow.
Thank you. Look, there is a path for Democrats to take back control of the U.S. Senate, but it is not without Michigan. There is a reason that the Republicans are spending more in Michigan than they will spend in Georgia, Maine, Iowa, Alaska, and New Hampshire. Because if Democrats take control of the Senate, there is a real check on an administration that the Republicans, every single Republican sitting in the U.S. House and the Senate right now, has refused to vote on the War Powers Resolution. They're letting Donald Trump run rogue. And he has admitted himself that he is surprised at how little pushback he has gotten. So that means voting on the War Powers Resolution, using the power of the purse to deny funding to a rogue ICE agency, to these foreign wars abroad, illegal wars that he is executing, to use the power of oversight to bring people in front of committees to show the American public what these people are actually doing and use that pulpit to be a...
Seems as though El Sayed is winning based on recent polls. I think he is. I think the issue, I don't know if there are polls on like who you would vote for otherwise, but I think like if McMorrow or Stevens were to drop out, I think the idea is that like 85% of the people voting for one would go to the other. That'd be my guess. Like most, if Stevens dropped out, most of her voters would probably go to McMorrow. If McMorrow dropped out, most of her voters I think would go to Stevens. So they're kind of like splitting the moderate vote here in a way. But I mean, if they both hang on to the primary, technically that would be good for El Sayed. That's why, I don't know if people caught this, but Emma Vigilant made a tweet a while ago, and I think her followers were too stupid to understand. Fuck, I'm not going to be able to find it.
Was she just rooting on...
It was a quote where she was saying something like, I hate how all these Bernie bros are being sexist, trying to make somebody... Oh, it's this. Hold on. Oh, fuck. It's this tweet. How do I make... Why is this just opening the whole account? Jesus fucking Christ. This tweet, she was making this. This is like a sarcastic tweet, basically. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Haley Stevens to drop out of the race, which is typical of the Bernie bro left that always wants to see women fail. Personally, I would feel betrayed as a woman if she doesn't hang in there and see this through, though. Or see this thing through. She's joking. She needs Stevens to stay in the race because I think if Haley Stevens drops, I think that McMorrow becomes almost impossible for El Sayed to beat. But as long as the two women are in splitting that, I think, more moderate vote, then El Sayed has a fairly easy shot, I think, through the primary. Great point. Even if she doesn't win, it's an empowering story about perseverance. Yeah.
Check to slow him down.
Why is it that Stevens is expected to drop? She's pulling higher than McMorrow? Oh, I don't know. Maybe McMorrow should be the one to, quote unquote, like, should drop or whatever. I just don't like, nothing I've heard about the Stevens person. She sounds like a fucking moron. McMorrow seems like an intelligent person that seems like a good candidate, like that I would prefer personally. But I mean, maybe it is that McMorrow can't close that gap on the polls with Stevens. I'm not sure.
Committees to show the American public.
Chat?
What?
Can a chatter link the polls real quick? I'm just curious. I want to see where we're at.
What these people are actually doing and use that pulpit to be a check to slow him down, to build power to finally deliver for Michigan.
Yeah, Haley Stevens.
Look, the beauty about putting up your hand to serve Michigan in the United States Senate is about very squarely doing what Michigan needs and what the people of this incredible state deserve. And that means adding Michigan amendments and Michigan-focused amendments to any large bill that comes down. We as individual lawmakers can't control what moves to the Senate floor, but as a U.S. Senator, very differently than the U.S. House, you can force a vote on an amendment. Think about what that would mean for trade policy. Think about what that would mean for our 21st century labor movement. Think about what that would mean for our incredible Great Lakes that need protection and stewardship. So I very squarely am running for United States Senate to be the champion and the voice of Michigan at the lawmaking table. And I promise you, Stephen, I read the rules books, I understand them, they're complicated, but they relate to what impacts and affects our people and the outcomes of our state.
Okay, we've got to keep moving here. Thank you.
Our next question will be from Beth LeBlanc, Lansing Bureau reporter for the Detroit News.
Thank you, candidates. Here in Michigan, voters face a number of complicated problems on many fronts: education, healthcare, housing, the changing landscape of policy regarding racial inequities, immigration, and urban versus rural investment. As a U.S. Senator, you really only have reach to make a difference in the way the federal government manages these issues. So from your perspective, where is the government failing the people most on issues like these? And how, in your role as a U.S. Senator, in the current dysfunction of Washington, D.C., would you make a difference?
Mallory McMorrill, you are up first.
Thank you, and thank you, Beth, for the question. The federal government has the power to impact people's lives in so many ways, and one of those ways is education. Right now, we have Linda McMahon, who has quite literally body slammed the Department of Education out of existence. That is failing all of us in Michigan. I currently represent the most diverse district in the state Senate in the state of Michigan, from Bagley through Birmingham. There are some schools in my district that have no HVAC. The building is 100 years old. They haven't had new textbooks in many years. And for many kids, the dental clinic that comes into the school is the only time they will ever see a medical professional. What if the federal government could rebuild the Department of Education to take on the challenge of rebuilding all the school buildings in the country so that my Detroit districts are not spending as much money trying to keep a 100-year-old building functional, and they can spend more money on kids, paraprofessionals, after-school programs, transportation to make sure that every child starts at the same starting line.
Haley Stevens, you're next.
Look, I'm a believer in proven and effective partnership from the federal, state, and local level, and I'm actually proud of the work that our great governor, Gretchen Whitmer, has done to grow Michigan's advanced manufacturing economy. I was proud to work alongside her in the Congress when we were making our way out of a global pandemic. I think back to my time working as the chief of staff on the U.S. Auto Rescue in the administration of President Barack Obama. That was federal policy that met the moment for who we are as Michiganders. When they were writing us off the map, when they were saying who's going to shut out the lights in Detroit, the people of Michigan, our grit, our determination, our hard work, the ingenuity, the gals at the fish fry on Good Friday who were so joyful but yet frustrated at the rising costs. There is a way in which we can form a brilliant and beautiful society with hands-on direct leadership, of which I have always shown from the bottom up, from places like Pontiac and Muskegon to Grand Rapids to the United States Senate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Abdul, you're next.
Now, you all know I'm a doctor, depending upon who you read. And my instinct is to say healthcare because it's the thing that's always kept me up at night, that people can't afford to see a doctor. But I was watching a video of an incoming tsunami, and people were playing in the sand, and they didn't know that there was a tidal wave coming. And the tidal wave that is coming is AI. And the fact that we do not have federal legislation that sets guideposts around the changing social contract, whether or not you can even sell your cognitive labor on a market for money, whether or not these will fall into the wrong hands, or worse, escape human control, the impact on our environment in the form of data centers. AI is the oncoming tsunami. We need legislation. Now, here's the problem. A lot of the folks who are not bought off by the industries that have controlled too much of Congress for too long don't necessarily understand the technology. And the folks who understand the technology are bought off by the corporations who are creating it. So we need leaders who understand the technology, are willing to stand up on it, and protect humanity from that oncoming tsunami.
Thank you.
I appreciate, can I jump in? I appreciate the need for legislation, which is why I rolled out a comprehensive AI plan this week on two fronts. AI and jobs that recognizes that Acrisure just announced they are laying off over 2,000 workers, and they directly cited AI. We should institute a token tax on commercial use of AI to fund apprenticeship programs that teach people how to do negotiations, how to sit in client presentations, how to manage other people, the things that AI is bad at, because every single company leader in this room is going to need managers, is going to need leaders, is going to need people to climb up that ladder. We also need export controls to ensure we are not allowing China to succeed on AI. We need real transparency and testing, just like every car that rolls off an assembly line can't be sold to the public until it is tested, until it is vetted, until it is deemed safe. And if something goes wrong, there should be an ability to recall, to sue the company who harmed a person. We have to put people first, which is why I'm proud to be leading on this issue, and I hope it spurs conversation across the country.
And it's just, it's not enough. It's not enough. Look, you voted to give data centers tax breaks, our tax dollars, to build data centers. It's hard because this is exactly the problem that I see. I'm the only candidate on this stage who big AI super PACs are not going to be spending money on behalf of. The only one. I don't think that it is enough to do this token thing. I think we need to regulate AI and AI corporations as public utilities. It is too dangerous to be left out of control of government. We need to be thinking bigger about this challenge because, again, it is not just a change in technology that comes around. This is coming faster than we can even imagine, and we need to have the foresight to understand that we need new regulatory infrastructure around taking it on, and we're going to need people who aren't bought off by the industry.
Haley Stevens, can Michigan progress if it throttles data centers and AI growth?
Well, I'm eager to put Michigan first at the lawmaking table, and I'm eager to see Michigan continue to lead on the moonshots of the 21st century, just like our great auto industry has been doing, just like we're seeing defense and aerospace do so, that employs countless people through a robust supply chain. We know that we've got to compete against China, and the way we are going to win the future is from a place called Michigan. And so I've got to make sure, as your senator, that the tax code and the bills and the investments that are coming down are coming into, properly into our communities that are saving taxpayers money and also alleviating costs. We got these big guys coming in here into Michigan, all right, these billionaire companies and all this. We need to make sure that Michiganders do not pay a penny for it. And what we also have to do is suck the money from them, put them into our treasury. That's how we grow the economy, lower our debt and deficit, which is another way in which I believe we should be taking on China because they own a ton of our debt. And that would make things nice for us, Nolan.
Melanie McMorrow, Abdul El-Sayed has called for Medicare for all repeatedly during this campaign. What's your answer to rising healthcare costs and increasing access by the citizens to healthcare?
Thank you. What I know is that our residents simply can't afford to wait. One of my constituents shared that she outright canceled her health insurance plan. Her premiums went from $200 a month to $2,000 a month when the Republicans voted to eliminate the ACA tax credits. People can't afford to wait for a revolution that may never come. People who are rationing their insulin right now can't afford to wait for Medicare for all when we have options on the table right now to lower prescription drug costs, to restore the ACA tax credits, to allow any Michigander who wants to opt into Medicare regardless of their age, to create a real public option that gives people choice and that forces private health insurance companies to bring their costs down.
I'll tell you this, revolution's definitely not coming if we're not fighting for it. So let's play a game. If you're on the stage and you have never taken a corporate PAC check from Blue Cross Blue Shield, raise your hand. Anyway, all of that is to say, I think we really can fight for a world where everybody can be guaranteed health care. I think we really should fight for that world because too many people in this country are going without the health care that they need and deserve. $225 billion in medical debt. That's bigger than the GDP of half the states in this country.
Thank you, sir.
No, I'm not done yet. I just want to say one more thing. It is important for us to recognize that all of these issues go back to how we finance campaigns, and it just keeps coming back and coming back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got to move to the next subject. Next up is Lauren Gibbons. She is a Lansing-based political reporter from Bridge, Michigan.
Thanks for taking our questions today. The winner of this race will be a fresh face in the U.S. Senate, a chamber that's bred skilled negotiators, passionate orators, career politicians, and even presidents. They will join a group of lawmakers with unique powers to deliberate key issues facing the nation and provide checks on the executive branch. It's never been an easy chamber to pass legislation through, but partisan disagreements and political dysfunction have further complicated that process in recent years, resulting in government shutdowns, drawn-out or contentious debate on critical policy matters, and decreased productivity. If elected to this office...
Your mics are not muted, by the way. You hear them whispering to each other?
Yes, it's so fucking annoying. They keep doing this.
Partisan disagreements and political dysfunction have further complicated that process in recent years, resulting in government shutdowns, drawn-out or contentious debate on critical policy matters, and decreased productivity. If elected to this office, what would a successful first term look like for you? And what political goals would you prioritize when representing the state of Michigan and Washington? What skills, career accomplishments, and other life experiences have prepared you for that kind of success?
Haley Stevens, you're up first.
Well, it's true. The Senate is certainly going to miss Gary Peters' salty beard. Fresh face abound, I guess.
Lucky
But
that they didn't say some
Gary
mean shit here because they fucking deserve to get leaked on if they're gonna not mute their mics.
Chill, damn.
Seriously, to your question. Look, we have got to make sure that Michigan is heard at the lawmaking table. And my visions and goals for my first term, which is a 6-year term, it's a long term. We can't even totally predict everything that's going to unfold. In the first couple...
Drop the fuck out, Stevens. Well, the problem is that why would she?
If she's ahead, then yeah.
Well, even if she's tied or even if she's like competitive, I don't know what you do in this situation. Is it always just that would you call it the dark horse candidate or I don't know how you refer to it, but like the candidate who is not splitting a vote between more progressive types versus the other two? Do they just auto win or I don't know? Yeah.
I don't know. I think you probably should have one of them drop out and then the other works in their fucking campaign or whatever.
The spoiler effect? Yeah. I don't know. Well, they've got to fight for the other person's voters, I guess, yeah.
Couple years are going to be imperative. We have got to act for our state now. We have got to collaborate and grow and continue to build off the success that people like the new mayor of Detroit, Mary Sheffield, who's been a part of this, from her time on city council, continue to be the bright light and the beacon. And part of that is going to be things that I have drafted already. I'm ready on day one with legislation. Lower costs, lessen our dependence on China, create jobs.
Bill.
You talk about career politicians. Now, I didn't grow up thinking I want to be a politician. I want to be a doctor. And my work has been in the bowels of city and county government. I remember working with Mayor Sheffield, talking about lead and how we get it out of the city. Now, I know from Lansing in D.C., folks like to look down on the folks who actually do the work in government, but that work is really important because you don't just have to show up Monday through Friday. You've got to show up on Saturday and Sunday, too. You've got to make hard decisions about how you make sure a WIC check gets delivered, how you make sure that a restaurant's a safe place to eat, how you make sure that people aren't breathing polluted air or drinking leaded water. That work is really important, and it's underrepresented in the U.S. Senate. You don't have folks who came up the way of municipal government understand what it looks like to actually run government at the grassroots. If I was elected, I'd be the first Democratic doctor elected to the U.S. Senate since 1969. First ever public health official elected to the U.S. Senate. Now, if you've ever looked at D.C. and been like, why the hell is RFK Jr. running public health? I think we could all use one of those right now. But that's important context, and it offers something that's greater than the sum of the parts.
Mallory McMorrow.
Clappa.
Right now, Democrats across our country and across Michigan are crying out for a new Democratic Party. We need a reckoning. We need a party that knows how to fight, how to win, and how to deliver. And what I know is that in Michigan, we have written that blueprint. We are going to have our work cut out for us against Mike Rogers. And I am the only candidate on this stage who defeated an entrenched Republican incumbent to get into office, swinging a district 20 points in my very first try after Googling how to run for office after Trump got elected the first time. I helped flip the entire state Senate to Democrats for the first time since 1984, and we have delivered on expanding childcare, civil rights, voting rights, affordable housing, removing lead service lines. What I want to do in the Senate, I would do with the only moms of a young child. Let's expand RX Kids nationwide. You've got a moment right now where even Donald Trump is calling for a baby bonus. He doesn't have ideas how to do it. We've got an evidence-backed, researched, bipartisan way to support moms and babies to grow our state, and we will lead from Michigan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As a senator from Michigan, you will be called on to take a leading role in auto industry regulation. Would you recommend rolling back the suspension of electric vehicles regulations that Donald Trump put in place? Haley?
Yeah. The future of Michigan's auto industry has got to be made in Michigan and by our incredible UAW. And that is where I have always and long cast my vote. I actually don't really care what kind of car you drive as long as it's Michigan made and union made, and that's a good thing. But the different types of cars and the innovations that are coming out here in the auto industry that has been leading from a front when, again, they were being written off the map, it is inspiring. Look, I became the first Democrat since the moon landing to hold my congressional seat. And I remember getting on the science committee, and we were celebrating, actually, the 50-year anniversary of the moon landing. And instead of looking backwards, I looked forward on that committee, and I shared with my colleagues from both sides of the aisle, which is why, as a manufacturing geek and as a proven bipartisan lawmaker who gets wins for Michigan, I asked them to join me in propelling the moonshot that comes out of the small to mid-sized businesses all across our state, the innovators in their garages who then turn them into businesses. This is what we're all about, and we've got the most number of FIRST robotics teams in the country here in Michigan. We've got SME headquartered here. We're doing STEM. It's a good thing.
Thank you.
Go next to Abdul.
Sure. So look, my dad came to America to build cars. He wanted to be an automotive engineer. This was the best place in the world to do it. We have the best engineering talent. We have the best manufacturing talent. What we don't have are the right incentives in place, and what we don't have are corporations who are incented to make long-range decisions. I remember when my dad came home from the tech center back in 1996. He had watched a lot of the engineering staff get laid off, and he said, a company that invests more in finance than engineering is not going to be an auto company for very long. 2008 comes around, and all of a sudden GM needs a bailout. We are in a situation right now where too often big corporations are chasing a quarterly bottom line rather than making investments in the long-range capacity, the long-range productivity of their workforce and their lines. And I think we need to change that system. So a couple things. Number one, we need to ban stock buybacks entirely. Number two, we need to put labor on corporate boards. Number three, we need to lay out the incentives to build the future of electrical vehicles while also knowing that we're going to continue to dominate when it comes to internal combustion engines. And finally, number four, we need to make sure that stocks get locked up for corporate C-suites for 10 years. So they're asking, how am I making decisions about how this company is going to look 10 years from now rather than a quarter from now?
Thank you.
Thank you. The lack of consistency here is absolutely killing us. After Donald Trump and his administration repealed the $7,500 tax credit, Ford posted more than a $19 billion loss. GM posted a multi-billion-dollar loss. Stellantis just announced their retooling plan this week to get back on track. China is celebrating. They are knocking at our doorstep in both Mexico and Canada to bring cheap EVs into the country. We need to restore the tax credit to ensure that we are incentivizing, we are supporting our auto industry so that no matter what you want to drive, an internal combustion engine vehicle, a hybrid, or an EV, that is an affordable thing for you to do. So we put these cars on the secondary used market, that we support our industry because we revolutionized the automotive industry. We revolutionized the manufacturing line to make it available not just for the few, but for the masses, and the rest of the world copied what we were doing. We have to support our industry from the ground up and also support registered apprenticeships, something I've been proud to champion in the state Senate, where now more than 20,000 Michiganders have gone through a registered apprenticeship, and they now make an average salary of more than $80,000.
I hate the word Michigander.
A year. We are leading here in Michigan.
Just kidding. I love Michigan people.
And we need to do so in the U.S.
Thank you.
I mean Michiganders.
Let's finish by asking each of you to briefly answer the question, what does the word Michigan mean to you?
30 seconds.
Starting with you, Abdul.
Home. It's the place where my Egyptian immigrant grandfather and my daughter of the American Revolution stepmother built a home that taught me both what a mustard pretzel was and then taught me how lucky I was to be born in a country that gave me great public schools, that paid for my medical education, that vaccinated me against diseases that killed an aunt and uncle I never got to meet. Michigan, for me, is about opportunity, and it needs to be that again.
Haley Stevens.
Michigan fires me up, and Michigan is the peninsula state of 83 counties, the 10th largest population in the union, and geographically the largest state east of the Mississippi. And Michigan deserves its best advocate at the lawmaking table. You know, the U.S. Senate is the chief lawmaking role in this country, and Michigan gets to send 2 people. Okay. Mike Rogers, he wants to rubber stamp Donald Trump and sell Michigan out. I don't know if we're doing closing statements or is this the last question? Okay, I'm done. I love Michigan.
Mallory, go ahead.
Thank you. Senator Slotkin said something yesterday that we need to attract more people.
Slotkin?
And I'm the only person on the stage who chose to move here. I've lived all over the country. You might have seen a little thing about my tweets online. But I chose to move here because Michigan is the greatest state in the entire country. This is where you can design, dream, and build anything. This is where I got engaged. This is where I got married. My daughter was born at the same hospital where my husband was born. We are going to change the world. Michigan is going to be the state that saves the country, and I would be incredibly honored to be a part of that.
Okay. So we've reached the portion of the program where candidates are going to give the closing statements. Each candidate will now have 1 minute for those closing remarks.
1 minute.
1 minute. Abdul, you're up first.
Well, thank you so much for an excellent moderated debate. Thank you to my colleagues. You know, we're here on this island, Mackinac Island, where we're having a conversation about common ground. And it's ironic because this is like the one piece of ground in Michigan where literally almost none of us live. If we're serious about common ground, you're not going to find it here. You're going to find it in the lived experiences of people in the places from whence you came, if you are curious enough to look. People who cannot afford their groceries, people who cannot afford their health care, people who send their kids to schools that look like they did 30 years ago. If we're serious about solving problems, why don't we focus on that common ground? And if we did, rather than coming up here and figuring out how corporations can buy corporate politicians to do corporate bidding, maybe we would actually be asking, how do we deliver for those folks? How do we take the corporations out, put the people back in? How do we guarantee health care? How do we stand with unions and finally tax billionaires a fair share? Because y'all won capitalism already. It's all right. You're going to be okay. We have an opportunity to do better, and we must. That's what this campaign is about. My name is Abdul Al-Sayed. I hope I can earn your support.
Thank you.
Next is Haley Stevens.
Look, I'm the daughter of small business owners who met at Oakland University. My mom paid her way through school washing dishes, and they taught me the value of hard work, hard Michigan work. And as someone who was the only person from Michigan on the auto rescue team in the administration of Barack Obama, staying late at work to take those calls, to return the calls from Michiganders who were worried about their job and their small business, I want to make sure that our state continues to lead. And I want to make sure that no one stands in our way. Not Donald Trump, not Mike Rogers, not the people who are looking to sell us out to the highest bidder. We have an incredibly unique story to tell, and we've got to be sleeves rolled up on day one when the new Senate begins. I would be so deeply honored to earn your vote and your trust for a 6-year term on behalf of this beautiful state in the United States Senate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mallory McMorrow.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank my colleagues running in this race for being here. There are 3 Democrats on this stage who there is more unites us than divides us. We all want you to have health care. We all want to end the war with Iran. We all want to beat Mike Rogers in November. We have different ideas of how to get there, and I don't want to lose sight of the stakes. Michigan has the most important Senate race in the entire country. And first of all, no matter what happens on August 4th, in the spirit of this conference, we all have to come together on August 5th. We must defeat Mike Rogers in November. Now, I am asking for your support because I am the only candidate on this stage who has beaten an entrenched Republican to get into office, the only candidate who helped build real power in helping flip the state Senate for the first time in 40 years to deliver on civil rights, voting rights, healthcare, childcare, you name it, we've done it. We are calling out for a new Democratic Party. I know how to fight, win, and deliver, and with your support, we will do exactly that.
So that concludes our Senate primary debate. Thanks to our candidates, the journalists, and of course, the audience members for participating today. Thanks for joining us, and have a great day.
And we would like to invite the candidates.
Now that's what I call
slop.
True. Fuck. What button is the hockey shortcut in Obsidian?
I don't know.
Well, somebody in chat should know. You push you hold a button and then you can push is it just Alt? No. For what purpose? If I wanted to insert a template. Oh, Control P. Thank you. Jesus. Sheesh. Sheesh. Sheesh.
We're not here to do posturing and rhetoric and stuff.
Why not, Pisco?
Are you here to debate the proposition or not?
Pisco, what I'm here to do is point out that the Democrats are on the verge
based on the thinnest veneer
That's
of
not the debate
justification
proposition.
to lock themselves
That's not the debate
into
proposition.
power,
So we agreed to a debate prompt, and now you're saying you want to debate something else.
Yeah, I do think we should
Republicans out of power.
try to stay as close to the topic as possible. On
We
the
agreed to a
prompts
topic.
here.
Let's stick to it.
That James Carville said that the Democrats should not talk about it. They should hide their power level. They should get into power
Yeah.
and then just do it.
Why is
Are
it
you
relevant
aware?
what James Carville said? So you don't want to
Tyranny.
debate the proposition. You want to
Pisco, I don't give a shit about
the
the
proposition?
proposition. I'm debating to save my country from your tyranny. I care.
I take that
not
to be
at
like
all
meta and rhetoric and.
I was told Wick
SFS has to watch the first 30 minutes of this.
had me waiting in the wings to do a debate, me and some other attorney, a lefty attorney, against Pisco and Josiah on court packing. Wick bumped me for fucking Connor. Why did Wick bump me for Connor? Is it because Connor's going through a hard time? Is it because Josiah didn't want to get blown the fuck out? Almost certainly. Wick said it was his fault, but here's what I think happened. I think Josiah said, I don't want to debate Ryan.
I messed up. It was my fault. I booked wrong. I had to make a choice between whether I'm going to have counterpoints on or whether I'm going to have Ryan Mullally on.
By the way, just so you guys know, the reason why this happened was because behind the scenes, I told Wick that I was going to cut him off from his $7,000 a month DGG check if he didn't bump Ryan, after also telling him to ban Doobie and every single one of his friends from his server. And Wick acquiesced to every demand I made. That's why he got
But you
bumped.
wanted to put on Connor.
That's for a variety of reasons.
That was before Connor backstabbed me. That's why Connor actually backstabbed me. Nobody knows the real story, but it's because Connor found that out, but he didn't want to blow up Wick.
Right?
Were any of those reasons because Josiah said a single thing to you?
No. Josiah was not consulted in any of this, right?
Oh my god.
Oh, is that a power? What you are.
Stop!
Bullshit.
And why are you lying?
I
Wait,
just
no,
want-
stop. Why are you lying and saying that you concede when you don't actually concede?
My personal integrity matters less to me than the future of my
So
country.
you lie when it's
and
convenient.
Hey guys, welcome back to
Yes or
Modern
no?
Day Debate. We have a lawyer versus lawyer today. We got Pisco and Ryan Mullally. Mullally. I'm gonna get it right by the end of this.
It's all right. No one in history ever has.
Awesome. Well, that makes me feel better. So the proposition tonight is that the Democrats are justified in expanding the Supreme Court. We got Pisco on the affirmative here, and then Mr. Mullally taking the I got it that time.
Nice.
Taking the stance against. So we're gonna get right into it with 2 5-minute openings, one each here. And
5-minute
Pisco's got the affirmative, he'll be going
openings.
first. And we're going to jump right into it. Before we do, though, I do want to just ask you guys, like the video, subscribe if you're not. And then we do have tickets for DebateCon 8 in July coming up. It's our flagship debate conference, and they are in the description. Awesome, guys. Appreciate you guys. And we're going to start as soon as you start talking.
All right, folks. Yeah, I'm
Are
in
you
favor
gonna
of
be at
expanding
DebateCon
the
8?
Supreme Court.
I think I am, aren't I? Scheduled for that?
Exclusively by
That's gonna
Democrats,
be
I would like to
awesome,
add.
dude.
And I want to start by quoting Senator Mitch McConnell in the aftermath of Antonin Scalia's death in 2016. This is a quote. We know the Democrats. If the shoe were on the other foot, they would not be confirming a Republican's presidential nomination for the Supreme Court in the middle of a presidential election year. We think the American people ought to decide this. We're not going to move on this nomination. We're not going to have hearings. We're not going to have votes on it.
Jesus.
In 2016, Mitch McConnell took the decision to categorically reject all nominations that Obama was going to put through many, many months before the election. And this was a form of court packing. And it's a form of court packing which merits a response. Now, I've come to this debate with a formally valid argument. And that means if the premises of this argument are true, the conclusion that the Democrats ought to do court expansion just follows. I want to take you guys through it. And hopefully you guys can read it. If not, I'll just try to make this a bit bigger. I can't do that. Okay. So the first premise, I think, is something that's easily agreeable.
I saw the Plattner leaks. Yes. Yes. Every single candidate that runs for office, we need to go through every single personal thing, every tattoo, every sexual message, all of them. Yes. This is American politics now. Yes. Good job. Let's go.
To.
He refers
it's just the notion that
as his Mein Führer, really?
in the cases in which reciprocal court packing will not lead to a cascade of consequences, will not result in a bunch of huge parade of horribles that people are disclaiming, and in which there actually has been an injury done.
That tweet is fake, according to Know Nothing for real in chat.
Some court packing done, that in those cases, it's justified for the injured party to retaliate. And of course, it's natural to do so too. The second premise of the argument is that, in fact, there was injurious partisan court packing done. This, I think, is obvious. If you go back to 2016, you see what Mitch McConnell did, and it was categorically an attempt with an irregular process in violation of a constitutional norm to change the composition of the court, not just wait for vacancies that emerge in the ordinary course of events, but to fundamentally violate a constitutional norm for the purposes affecting the partisan balance of the court. That should be an easy premise to agree to. There's no effective way to reverse this injury other than through court packing, right? There's some things that you could do to try to remedy this injury. Potentially the Republicans could, if they wanted to, just let the Democrats nominate a nominee. The next time one comes up, the justice could resign in recognition for what happened. There could be a neutral constitutional amendment that's presented, but none of those are effective and none of those are likely to occur, and therefore there's no effective way to reverse the injury without a court expansion in kind. The proposed reciprocal court packing doesn't overshoot beyond mild deterrence. I'm not advocating for us to do a 100-person court pack of the Supreme Court. We're just trying to remedy the injury that was done to the Democrats.
Would you ever prepare formal arguments like Pisco? Yeah, I've done it before. I do it for my, usually for my college appearances. I did it for the Lila Rose debate.
In 2016, and to respond in kind the way that Mitch McConnell suggested would be done, through a legal mechanism, through an authorized mechanism. So I think that's, whatever you want to dial in on your notion of proportionality here, if you accept even just one seat, I think you're definitionally in favor of court expansion. And so we can quibble about how much would constitute mild deterrence, but as long as you agree that there was at least one seat that could be rectified, and I think honestly mathematically it's two, if not more, then I think that you should be in favor of that proportionality premise. And then finally, there's no reason to expect a severe consequence cascade. Every time we have these debates, it seems like people are trying to generate a list of things that will occur without a doubt, and they relate to the rule of law, just breaking down fundamentally. They relate to this oscillation between both parties that creates some severe consequence. But what is the actual empirical basis to believe that that's going to occur? Where are the case studies that show that if this occurs, if there's a reciprocal court expansion, that what happens is you break down the rule of law? If you go back into our history, you'll see that there was not just court expansions of the federal Supreme Court for partisan reasons. There were court expansions of state Supreme Court, courts, highest courts of last resort in states, as recently as this year in Utah. Is the rule of law breaking down in Utah? Is the rule of law over in Georgia or in Arizona, where they were, in my view, explicitly partisan court packs? No. And so I actually think my opposition has, a case to show that this is false, if he's going to say that this is like necessarily bad, if he's going to take anything other than an agnostic position. But I think that the evidence is such that this will increase the structural stability of the United States. We shouldn't expect to see a breakdown of the rule of law or an increased tendency of the executive to disobey court orders. And so I think basically you're likely to see a lot of positive outcomes, and certainly in terms of the legitimacy of the court in the public's eyes, I think will be vastly improved if our court starts doing more popular things, because that's the vision of legitimacy that the population cares about.
All righty, thank you for that 5-minute opening, and we're going to turn it over to Mr. Ryan here. Whenever you start talking, I'll hit the timer.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Ryan Mullally. I'm an attorney. I've litigated at every level of the U.S. legal system, up to and including the U.S. Supreme Court. And I'm here today to open your eyes to a grave threat to our liberty, our Constitution, and yes, the rule of law. Prominent Democrats are now openly arguing for a set of policies, including the most radical and unprecedented court packing in the history of the country, adding 4 justices to the U.S. Supreme Court on a purely partisan basis. They do it with a smile on their face, cloaking themselves in false virtue, and hoping you will praise them for their tyranny. Pisco has the unenviable task of trying to defend these tyrannical proposals. To do so, he's selected a classic lawyer's trick: atomize the issue, drown you in banality and unnecessary complexity, and paint a thin veneer of logic over the unjustifiable. In other words, Pisco's job tonight is to obfuscate the Democrats' tyrannical plans. My job is to reveal them. And you don't need to be a lawyer. You don't need a 6-premise argument to understand the grave threat to your liberty extremists like Pisco pose. He is arguing that it's fine, even justified, for the Democrats to expand the court, which has been 9 justices since the Civil War era, and do so in the most radical and unprecedented way in our history. Why? Because they don't like the current Supreme Court. They don't like how they rule, and they want to get their way. That's why. It's that simple. So how do the Democrats plan to alter our Constitution, vitiate the independence of our highest court, entrench their own power? What's their plan? Well, they've told you. They said it publicly. First, they want to add 4 or more, some of them have said more, justices to the court, likely young, left-leaning justices who will serve for decades and enable the Democrats' agenda for the next 50 years. But that's not enough for them, by the way. That's just the appetizer. They also want to make D.C. and Puerto Rico states, because that would give the Democrats 4 extra seats in the Senate, locking out Republicans. Now, you might be asking yourself, is Senate packing part of court packing? How are those related? They go hand in glove. Why? Because of what's called the ratchet effect. As Justice Breyer, a noted liberal Supreme Court justice, once explained when talking about court packing, quote, "What goes around comes around. And if the Democrats can do it, the Republicans can do it." So after the Democrats pack the court to 13
They're already doing it.
justices, the next Republican administration would have the chance to reciprocate in kind.
Wow.
And they would. Maybe they'll go to 19. Maybe they'll go to 20. But then it's the Democrats' turn again, and they'll go to 30, 40, 50, 60. And pretty soon, the concept of the rule of law, the concept of an enduring constitution is a joke. It's a sad memory. So but the Democrats know this. They know this is a risk. So what are they going to do about it? How can they have their cake and eat it too? They pack the Senate, because if the Republicans can never get back in power in the Senate, they can never repack the Supreme Court. That's why they want to make D.C. and Puerto Rico states. Tyranny cloaked in virtue. But even that's not enough. They want to create an enforceable code of ethics for Supreme Court justices so they can discipline the justices that they don't like. But don't worry, Pisco's been very clear that he would only favor using such an ethical code, and I'll quote him, against the conservative justices that supposedly lied during their nomination hearings, though they did no such thing. Every statement Pisco makes tonight is an admission. Every single one. And here's why. It's so obvious. Pisco said his argument is about political self-defense. That's what he said. Well, I don't know about you, but I feel pretty threatened by court packing, Senate packing, infiltrating the court, taking away their independence. I feel pretty threatened.
1 minute.
Are the Republicans justified in packing the court? Are they justified in self-defense? They have all the institutional power right now. They could pack the court tomorrow. They could put 4 frothing at the mouth conservatives on the court. Are they justified in self-defense?
I hope Pisco deals. They don't need to pack the court. They already have a 6-3 lead. They wouldn't need to. Why would they? Why would they? They don't need to.
Pisco says no. He said in his opening, it's only for the Dems. He won't bite that bullet. And that's all you need to know to reject Pisco's self-defense argument. It's classic partisanship, rule for thee, not for me. It's a false argument meant to obfuscate and insane wash tyranny.
What is the main argument against Puerto Rico having statehood at this point? Because I want to disenfranchise Pixie and her family as much as possible.
Reject everything Pisco says unless he's willing to condemn the Democrats' proposals in full. But even if that's enough to decide the debate, that's enough. But even if it weren't, his argument is nonsense. It's a clunky syllogism which is on its face a disaster. It's internally contradictory and self-defeating. The premises are false. It relies on undefined terms which appear to have proprietary and non-standard definitions. And it is all obvious. Pisco knows it, or at least he should.
All right.
So why is he saying it? Sorry. To obfuscate tyranny. That's what he's here tonight to do. And I'm here to reveal it. We'll have some fun tonight.
Awesome. Yeah, you didn't really go over too much. I was just making sure you knew that's 5. Awesome. We're going to get into the open dialogue. We got 60 minutes hitting on the clock here. And since Ryan just went, we'll go ahead and let Pisco take it over for opening.
Quick meme break from our queen.
I definitely think that over the last 2.5 years, I've been able to identify the existence of evil that I didn't think existed. And that pushed me a little closer to my roots because I grew up Christian. I wouldn't say that I'm like a full-blown Christian again, but I'm now realizing that I've had some experiences too, which I haven't really talked about too much publicly.
Like, saw God? Or...
too much publicly, mostly because after, Tucker Carlson talked about his supernatural experience, people dunked on him, including myself, and I'm very embarrassed about that.
When he said he got attacked by a demon in his sleep?
Mine wasn't like, oh, I got, attacked by demons. Mine was actually a very positive experience. And it made me very close to humanity, like understanding and appreciating people's humanity first and foremost, before seeing them as nothing more than like a political figure or a political ideology. I definitely.
I go to
You don't believe he got attacked?
My wife and 4 dogs who sleep in the bed. My wife said 4 children. My dogs are hunting dogs.
It's so bullshit. Like, if I were to talk to a room full of people and I was like, listen, yesterday, I was running all over my apartment screaming because I had images that I thought I saw things floating through my apartment. And, I was screaming. They were leaving marks on my body. And it was just like the most stressful experience of my life. Everybody would be looking at me like, oh, this. But then if I was like, oh, no, wait. Sorry, I didn't clarify. They were demons. I'm Christian. Now it's like, okay. Oh, It was a Christian schizophrenic episode. Oh, well, we believe that. We think that's real, actually. I thought it was just random demons. I didn't know it was godly ones. That's fucking wild to me, bro. Give me a fucking break. Holy shit. Come the fuck on.
All 5 of them wake up like that. And then I go to bed with my wife and 4 dogs who sleep in the bed. My wife said 4 children. My dogs are hunting dogs. All 5 of them wake up like that. Like we have no home invaders in my house. I wake up at 2:30 in the morning. I check and I couldn't breathe at all. My throat was closed. It wasn't like I was apnea or was strong, so I couldn't breathe. So I get up, I stand in the doorway of our bedroom, and I'm like, wow, I'm dying. I can feel myself starting to gray out. And then I started walking in the backyard, and then it slowly came back. Like my throat kind of opened up a little bit. I was like really weirded out. I walk back in, and my wife wakes up. She goes, what is going on? I said, I don't know. I can't breathe. I feel better now. And all of a sudden, I had this horrible pain underneath my arms, like on the side of my chest, like bad. I thought I'd been like ripped with a knife or something. It just was very intense. So I go into the bathroom, I flip on the light, and I have claw marks on both sides. On right and left side on my ribs, and they're bleeding. And they're literally claw marks, 4 on either side. I put my fingers in them, don't fit my fingers, and I sleep on my side. So how could, by the way, no one woke up. So I show my wife, and she's like, oh my gosh. And then I have this like crazy intense desire to read the Bible. So I read the Bible, and I pass out in like 2 minutes, and I wake up, and the next morning I thought, man, did I have a wild dream? And then I see blood in my sheets, and I go in the bathroom, and I have these bloody marks. And my wife goes, I think you were attacked by some supernatural being. And I was like trying to be logical about it. I was like, yeah, I definitely was. And then I called.
I was trying to be logical about it. I was like, well, yeah, of course, obviously. Yeah.
It was. And then I called one of my producers who's like, oh, yeah, well, that's pretty common. I was like, what? And I've had a couple other experiences. And I go to bed.
It was the wife. Bro, get me out of here, dude. Whatever.